Hi there, it's Brett Culp. When I look at my calendar, it wasn't so long ago that we were together, gathered together for the Florida Senior Living Association event. And, when I was there, I was honored to be a keynote speaker and to share my heart and some thoughts about leadership in the world and my experiences as a filmmaker. It wasn't that long ago on my calendar, but in my mind and in my heart, man, it seems like a long time ago. It was like a whole different world when we were together. This is such a time of difficulty and crisis, and you have been on my mind and in my heart recently. I know that for you right now, particularly in your work, in your industry, in senior living, you have a heavy responsibility to take care of the most vulnerable group in this crisis, in this difficult time. And I applaud you for the heroic work you're doing right now to really care for this community, to make a difference, to protect them, and to honor them in this difficult time when so many families are counting on you to be the ones to hold the front line on this. So thank you. Thanks for the long hours you're working. Thanks for the stress you're willing to go through and the tension to make this happen. I wanted to take a minute today, just a couple of minutes, to share a few thoughts that I think may be helpful for you in your role as leaders, as influencers, as difference makers in your work, in your profession, but also in your personal life with your family and with your community. But before I share any of that, I just want to say this. This is a time, we've never experienced anything like this before. And it's very likely that at the deepest part of yourself, you're feeling things that you've never felt before. A sense of unsettledness and stress and grief. You just feel out of sorts. And maybe you find yourself in the shower crying and you didn't expect it. Maybe you find yourself emotionally having these emotional outbursts with your family, with your staff, with your team. Maybe you find yourself gripping the steering wheel harder than you ever have before, or wake up with your jaw clenched. Maybe you're not sleeping well. You're not alone in that. There are so many of us feeling that way right now. And I just want to say, there's nothing wrong with you. You're human. And it's okay that you're feeling all those heavy feelings right now. I think we all are. And I just want to say, it's okay. It's okay that you're feeling that way. And I hope you're finding spaces where you can talk, where you can share your feelings and your thoughts and get those things out. Please don't bottle them up. I certainly want you and hope you will take care of your physical health of your body. But I hope you'll also protect and defend your emotional health and your mental health during this difficult time, that you will talk and share, get the help and the care that you need on every level of yourself, because now more than ever, we need you. We need you. The world needs you. And so please take care of yourself so that you can serve us. As they say on the airplanes, put your mask on first before you put it on the child sitting next to you. Please do that right now. Put your mask on first and take care of yourself. It's so important. Now let me share a couple of thoughts that may be valuable to you today. I think this is a time where we need to celebrate everything, even the little things. Very often we only want to celebrate big milestones, big accomplishments. We're so busy that we don't have time to stop and celebrate the little things. But I think this is a time for celebrating all of it. When you have a little kid living in your home or you're around a child, you celebrate the first time they eat broccoli. You celebrate the first time they say every word for the first time. That's such a big deal, but as grown-ups, we don't tend to do that. I think it's time to get back to that in many ways because we need it. And here's the reason why. I think right now, every accomplishment, large and small, is taking more effort than ever before. We are dealing with so many things and transitioning and figuring things out we've never had to figure out before. We're figuring out, as parents, those of us that are parents, we're figuring out how to do our work how to be good parents, how to teach our children at home, learning all these virtual things and multiple passwords and how to teach the kids and figure out what to do with their time and their energy and their schedules. We're learning how to work from home. We're thinking about relatives and parents and their safety and their health. We're trying to figure out, should we go to the grocery store? Should we have it delivered? Should we wipe down every single item once we get it home with Clorox bleach wipes? I mean, these are things we've never had to think about before, and yet all at once we're being hit with it, and it's overwhelming. I think that makes every single thing we accomplish in life, everything we get through, even if we do it imperfectly, a much bigger deal. Man, we need to applaud ourselves and others for even the baby steps, because it's a big deal. It matters. It's important, and it's significant. It takes a lot more courage, strength, and heart than it ever has before, and it's always worthy of applause right now. I think also this is a time where we need to stay open and be ready for giant leaps and bold steps. We love for change to be incremental, for it to happen slowly over time, and for growth to happen in a way that's not a shock to the system. Well, the reality right now is that there is a major shock to all of our systems, in our personal lives, to our industries, to our world. And I think we need to be ready to do bold, courageous things to respond. And I think for you as a leader, in whatever role you have influence right now, being ready, being open to taking those bold actions, to being a leader in ways you've never been a leader before, is so important. Because right now, so many people are looking to you. They're looking for strength. They're looking for vision. And even though you may not know what to do and you may not execute it perfectly, your voice is so important right now. And it's okay to look, to be careful, to be intentional, to be smart, but to be willing to do things that might be unpopular in the short term, that might seem too bold in the short term, to make a difference in the long term. And I also think that right now it's so essential to focus on your epic journey, to focus on the long story that your work and your life is telling. You know, we love to walk into a movie theater and in 90 minutes see a beginning, middle, and end. It's so satisfying to get it all in that one chunk. But life is rarely that way, and this situation certainly isn't that way. This situation is more like a series of 9 novels you have to read to get the full story. This is going to take a while. It's going to take a while to work through this. And you as a leader need to have the vision to see the bigger picture. It's easy for most of us to get focused on the terrible headlines of the moment, the bad statistic that's happening right now, and to get so focused on that we're so unsettled and so anxious we can't make good, solid decisions. For you as a leader, one of your big focuses has to be looking at the long vision and being willing to make short-term sacrifices to win in the long term for your team and for everyone that you serve in your communities and in your world. We're looking to you right now to make those decisions. Focus on the epic journey, the long story that your work is telling. When we were together, I ended my presentation by sharing a thought about Starlight. That when we look up at the night sky and see those beautiful stars, the reality is it takes years, decades, sometimes centuries for that light to shine through the darkness until it reaches the night sky and inspires us. But that's what it does. It continues to shine through space, unwavering in its course until it reaches its destination. And that has always been the nature of your work. You are Starlight, shining through the darkness. And right now, we need you to shine. We need to see your light, even in the midst of things that are so dark and so difficult. We need you to step up and with your hope and your faith and your optimism and your belief that we can get through this, that things will be okay, that together we can go through this. And yes, it will be challenging, but there is hope. There is light. So my friends, thank you. Thank you for the heroic work you're doing. I want to share a short video clip. I want to end with a clip from a speech that I gave before we were dealing with the coronavirus in our world, before we were even talking about it. But I think the message of this clip is really what's in my heart to say to you right now. So watch this. Thanks for being a hero in your world. Thanks for being you. Here's the truth. You are Starlight. You are Starlight. Shining through darkness, often feeling lost, often feeling alone, often feeling you will never arrive at your destination. And yet one day, you do. And some fool like me looks up at the night sky and says, "Wow! Wow!" And you're like, where were you in those double shifts? In those dark moments, in those difficult times where I felt so alone, where everything felt so hard and so difficult. I wish I could tell you that in every moment you will see the result and the impact of your work, but you won't. Because the reality is, stars don't get thank you notes. From all the dreamers and travelers and musicians and young people they have inspired for centuries, they never hear that. The difficult truth is that the greatest impact you will ever make in your entire profession, you'll probably never hear that story. No one will think to come back and tell you how what you said and what you did in that moment, that when everything seemed wrong and everything seemed ruined and everything felt broken, how what you did changed everything. They may not even realize or remember that you did it, but it happened. It happened. And that is why it's so important to hold space for hope, even when everything feels wrong. Why it's so important to stay anchored to your meaningful mission, even when the winds and the waves are all over you. Why it's so important, even when you feel that everything's wrong, to keep going. Your work matters. Your life matters. Keep fighting. For there are galaxies within you. You are filled with wonder and magic, songs and light. So my friends, keep shining. Keep shining.